What's up, everybody? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha, represent Mocha's Cafe de Paris, where you know I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and truth, spiritual awareness. Thought it was imperative that I continue with doing why Mocha won't join YouTube movements part two. There is a few other issues that I forgot to address with these movements in the YouTube streets. Um, the next thing that I want to mention, because I know I mentioned in part one, that the three reasons for YouTube movements not being successful is because the first reason I stated, YouTube content creators, um, these movements at some point, what tends to happen is, egos get big, conflicts start arising within the YouTube movement, especially within these black content sectors. When they create these movements, what happens is one person will get big in the movement, and it creates a lot of jealousy, it creates conflict, and it creates strife. So that was the first reason. The second reason that I stated is that you have those who are constantly intruding in these panels, again, and it's these content creators' faults as to why they are allowing people to join their movement without investigating and doing their research. They're just having an open door policy. They're letting anybody in, and this is causing cancer to their channel. And the other reason that I stated is because you know once people create movements, what tends to happen is, once that person leaves, their character is assassinated. They're not allowed to grow. Those in the movement will hold it against them. They will slander them and say you wasn't a real man, you wasn't a real woman. If you was real, you never would have left the movement, because these movements, they don't allow you to have your own mind. You're not allowed to change your mind. You're not allowed to grow. You're not allowed to see things from a different perspective. The moment you do, they will assassinate your character. So the next thing I wanted to mention that I did not mention in part one was what's going on is also in these YouTube streets is that there are a lot of those that are leading these movements, and they are abusing their authority. It was very imperative that I address this because there's a lot of people who feel that because they have initiated a movement or they started the movement, whether that movement was to degrade black women, whether that movement was to degrade black men, whatever the reason for why they initiated their movement, was I'm starting to notice is that those who are leading are abusing their authority, meaning that they are abusing, their subscribers mentally. They're abusing people on the panel who have a different opinion, who share a different perspective. They get mentally abused. I mean, verbally abused. Yeah, that's the correct word. Verbally abused because they have their own perspective and they got their own standing points for why they feel what they feel, and they're getting ridiculed for it. As a content creator, it's very important that even if you have a movement, that you don't abuse your authority over the movement just because you can get rid of somebody and discard them the moment they don't like what you say or they don't agree with what you say. That's abusing your authority. It's no different than if a pastor, may have a member in his church that may not agree with everything he says about the Bible. And versus him throwing him out of his church and saying, you're not welcome to come back here anymore, what he should do is they should be able to have an adult conversation without everybody standing around so nobody won't influence one from the other. They should talk behind closed doors and share their views. Now, the problem with a lot of these content creators, once you don't accept their views and you don't accept their opinions, they are not man enough or woman enough to talk with you behind closed doors so they can find out why your views are different from them. They don't want to deal with it in a private, civil manner. Instead, they're going to deal with it. One, they're going to deal with it up front, meaning that they're going to do it on a live panel, or doing a live recording. I mean, doing a recording, they're going to put it out there because they're more concerned with the views than they are with actually resolving the problem. I've seen this 1,000 times. I've seen different people say, well, I don't know why he couldn't just come to me and tell me that in private. I don't know why she couldn't come to me and tell me that in private. No, they're not going to tell you in private, because the thing is, some people, they feel like they can only make their movement look good by making other people's opinions look bad. So they would rather have you on their panel live. They would rather have it to where everybody can see the disagreement. That way, they could make sure their point is more valid by being disrespectful, by being rude, by basically degrading or insulting anybody, whether that person is the same sex or the opposite sex, that does not wholeheartedly agree with their theories and the views that their movement represents. So because of that, what I'm starting to notice is a lot of these content creators are abusing their authority. They're kicking people off of their panel. They are kicking people off of their chat room, out of their chat room. They're disabling their wrench. The crazy part about it is they get rid of these people who have supported them, who have rocked with them, but those same people that have donated to them, they will not give them back their donations. My thing is, if I'm done with a person, I don't want no parts of you. If I feel like you disrespected me, my movement, in any shape or form, I don't want no parts of you. I would get rid of you. I would take my wrench. I will block you from having access to my channel, and I will give you your money back. But what I notice is that a lot of these content creators, they will discard people who disagree with them, but they won't give them their money back. They won't give them their money back. So that look at the hypocrisy in that, you know, the contradictory in that. I don't like the fact that you don't agree with my views, but I'm gonna keep your money anyway. I mean, it's just ironic to me how so many content creators are abusing their power and abusing their authority. And not only that, they are being very disrespectful. I feel as grown men and grown women, if somebody does not like what you have to say, if somebody does not agree with your views, why not just politely tell them, if you don't like my content, you are welcome to leave gracefully. Why do you have to kick them out, your chat room or your panel? Respectful. If they're politely saying, I don't agree with that, or that's not how I look at it, you want to boot them right away. Not only that, what I'm starting to notice is with a lot of content creators, comes to their movement, make it their business to validate their points by making those that they are against in their movement look stupid. Like, for instance, if I'm a black woman and my content is all about degrading black men and disrespecting black men, and that is what my movement, that is what my content is based upon. And basically, I will bring another black man on my panel and I make him believe that I have the best of intentions, which if he is smart, he wouldn't even come to my panel knowing what my movement is about. But let's say if he's a brother, he has good intentions, and he just wants to come on our panel just to shed me some different light as to why I shouldn't think the way that I think about black men. And he decides to take a chance and come on my panel. I will intentionally bring him on my panel. And even if he's sharing very good information, he's sharing very solid information, very helpful information, I would intentionally make him look bad by being disrespectful, or I may say something to him on my panel like, See, you're over here trying to be nice, you're trying to kick this knowledge when you're just a typical black man. In other words, I will say and do anything I can to make him look bad, because the last thing I want is to have a brother coming on my panel acting the opposite of the movement that I am promoting. If I am saying that all black men are no good and all black men are trash, if that's what my movement is about, and he comes on my panel talking sensibly, he talks with a lot of common sense, he's acting like a gentleman, and he's acting the opposite of my movement, I got to make him look like the trash that my movement is representing. Because if he's coming on there and I'm allowing him to be this polite gentleman and be this respectable gentleman, he's going to taint my movement. I can't have that. I can't have a brother coming on my panel, on my channel, talking sensibly when my movement is about how dumb or stupid black men are. I can't do that. So I got to make him look bad so I could continue to get my subscribers to support my movement and to donate to my movement. Because if I let a brother come on here being sensible, change my atmosphere, and the atmosphere is supposed to be negative, he's going to taint my brand. So what I'm noticing is that there's a lot of content creators that are leading movements, and they don't want anybody to bring anything positive to the movement. Like, there was one brother who allowed me on his panel, and we was talking about how black women are having all of these children out of wedlock, and having all of these baby daddies, and not protecting their bodies and protecting themselves from all these unwanted pregnancies and vice versa. So he invited me, and I got on this panel, and we was talking about that. And basically I was explaining to him why black women need to get on birth control. And I explained the different types of birth control that black women could get on to prevent from being another statistic. I went explaining the different types of birth control and what they consisted of. And I noticed there was one or two people in the chat room that was interested and wanted to know about the different types of birth control. This brother cut me off and said, no, we're not doing this is not a medical field or something smart, he said. In other words, like, we're not, basically he's telling me we're not here to educate. I didn't bring you on here to educate. I brought you on here to entertain. Now, as long as I was co-signing and going along with how black women ain't this and black women ain't that, he was fine. But the moment I tried to not only, even though I was kicking the actual factual and I was going in on the sisters, but at the same time I wanted to educate them, because that's the problem with the black YouTube sector. We only want to entertain, but we don't want to educate. So the moment I went educating and talking about different birth control, he cut me off before I could finish sharing all of it, because again, that he didn't want to hear about that. So as content creators, there are too many of us that are abusing our authority and abusing our power of owning these platforms, and not understanding that the same mess that you dish out, you better damn near be able to handle it when it comes back on you. You want to sit up here and dish out all the negativity, and anybody that wants to bring something positive to your channel, don't worry, because sooner or later, the same garbage you are promoting, that's the same garbage that's going to cause you to lose your channel. Because if sooner or later, day in, day out, if you keep promoting the same negative stuff over and over and over again, you create a lot of enemies, which is the other point I wanted to make with this part too, is that the reason why I will not join any YouTube movements is because you create a lot of enemies. You create more enemies than you create friends. And the problem with these YouTube content creators, the bigger they get, the bigger their channel become. They get more and more disrespectful. They talk to anybody any kind of way. They have no filter. They feel invincible. They feel like they can say what they want, do what they want, and not realizing that the more you keep doing that, you are building up enemies. You're getting a lot of people to go against you. And the problem is you're so blind and you're not noticing that because you're too busy looking at the people that are supporting you. And you're overlooking those that you are pissing off and disrespecting and you rubbing them the wrong way. Those are the same ones that are going to cause you to lose your whole channel, to lose your whole brand, because you got to realize some of these people that you have turned against you was people who rock with you at some point in time. They didn't just hate you just to be hating you. At some point, they liked your content. At some point, they liked your movement. They was a subscriber. They was a moderator. They was somebody who joined your panel. So these people already kind of have know a few things about you. They know some of your secrets. They know some of your weaknesses. They know some things from the inside that other people do not. And these are the same people who can come together and bring you down. Sometimes there are strength in numbers. You don't have to have a whole lot of people to bring your movement down based on how you treat people. Just one person. If you disrespect one person that may have a lot of pull and a lot of power with people in the YouTube sector that you don't know about, they can bring enough of people together to make you shut down your whole operation. Just like Nino Brown, he really thought he had that whole operation with the Carter on lock. He really thought no matter what he said, no matter what he did, Nino Brown got even more and more disrespectful. He got more cocky. He got more arrogant, in the movie New Jack City. When Nino started becoming successful, he was already a rough around the edge type of dude. But once he started making money and, the Carter getting all these profits, notice how cocky he became. Notice how arrogant he became. He started verbally abusing everyone on his team. People who was rocking with him from the beginning. Like his girlfriend's cousin, played Christopher Williams. He was the one, who sat at the table. He called him a pretty mother F or whatever. He took it out on him. And the guy was there from day one, supporting him, helping him run the money, helping him, get the operation done. He turned on him. And that's the worst. That's another reason why Mocha would never join the YouTube movement, because I do not want somebody turning on me just because they're having a bad day, just because they're having a bad moment, because stuff ain't going wrong for them. And I've seen that in this YouTube sector. I've seen people who have had a bad day, and because somebody on the panel says one little thing, or somebody comes in on their panel doing a rushed and heated argument, they will get mad and take it out on people that had nothing to do with it. So that's another reason why I will not join any YouTube movements, because some people, when they get big and successful and things start looking up for them, they become very dogmatic. They become really harsh. They become more rude, more disrespectful, more arrogant, to the point to where y'all need me, I don't need y'all. It's that David Ruffin mentality from the Temptations. Remember the movie Temptations, where they let David Ruffin in onto the movement and to their group, even though the movement was already kind of going and growing. But once he came on there, the group did get a little bigger. The group did get a little bit more successful. And then David Ruffin acted like he was the main one that made the group successful. He forgot that they brought them on. And see, that's another thing. That's why I don't want to be a part of anybody's movement, because sometimes when you bring people on, they forget that you brought them on, and they will try to get bigger than you. You have some people that have that David Ruffin mentality. I made you. Y'all nothing without me. We see it all the time. We see it all the time. But that was the main point that I wanted to address, is that some of these content creators, they are very verbally abusive, and they're not understanding that as grown folks are not going to sit there and take all type of abuse off of you, because people got problems, people got stuff they got to deal with off of YouTube. So the last thing people want to do is go on YouTube and deal with being disrespected and deal with being talked down and treated all kind of way. So I just thought it was imperative that I also had addressed that point because I didn't address it. That just because you own a panel and you own a channel, be mindful of how you treat your subscribers, be mindful of how you treat your guests when they come on your panel. Be very mindful of that, because if something goes wrong with your brand or your channel, you never know. The same people that you are disrespecting, you may need their support. You may need them to be there for you because tables have a way of turning. So anyway, y'all, enough of this. I just thought it was imperative that I did this part two because we got too many Nino Browns and David Ruffins, content creators in the Black YouTube sector that don't know how to act. They get clout, they get subscribers, they get donations. Now they done got become mad disrespectful. They done become nasty. They done become arrogant. They done become cocky. I say what I want. I do what I want. You take it or leave it. Okay, well, point intended, I'm leaving. So on that note, y'all, letting y'all know I'm going to do an upload on the torment of single parenting. I'm going to do a topic on that. I noticed there has been a lot of Black single mothers that have been killing themselves and killing their children in the Black community because they cannot take the pressures of being a single mother. They're getting overwhelmed with the responsibilities. So I'm going to do an upload on that tonight. So y'all just make sure you look out. Make sure you hit that notification bell so when I do some more uploads, y'all will not miss out. Again, this is your girl, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Again, y'all be blessed.